right, real rap coalition episode number 13, man. You know what I'm saying? We 13 weeks into this shit, man, and we back with another episode. Before we get into that, before we introduce the movie, I'm gonna let everybody introduce themselves. We're gonna go down the line. First, I'll start with me. My name is Slim, Showtime Slim, man. Who else we got in the building?
KTL here, but he not unmuted, so I'm gonna go. Yo, it's Rootz, the Black Rootz. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the maniac, but I'm pretty sure somebody here do.
All right.
Okay, who else?
Nigga.
It's art, man.
Buddy
That's
got
all I
stage
got.
fright.
I still don't got no slogan yet. Go ahead. I was taken aback by the slogan.
Yeah, Buddy got stage fright. You already know what it is. FDub making my return once again after a brief, period and shit. You feel me? But it's good to be back, man.
Big Lordy Lord, man. Get this shit going, brothers.
We get Bob Celeste, nigga. Fuck you talking about, man? Let's go.
This nigga did his own sound effects. What you think you me?
Yeah, that's crazy.
The fuck was that?
There he is. Nigga. Introduce yourself, KTL.
I don't know if I can follow some autistic shit like that, man. But it's choice, Kaleb, man. You know what I'm saying? We in building. Yeah, tell that autism shit.
Theatrical Tex in the building, man. He love women.
Yeah, the only nigga that got something to do on Friday. Let's get to it.
Hold on now.
Yeah, I got a day.
Hey, hold up, real quick. We got a new addition to this motherfucker. Hey, Fear, introduce yourself, brother.
I'm not a nigga, but I already introduced myself.
Oh, I ain't hear it, and I'm pretty sure the people ain't hear it neither, nigga.
I heard it.
Oh, well, fuck it.
All right, man. So today's movie was picked by Bob Celeste, so I'm gonna let him introduce the shit, and then we're gonna get into it.
What's that? 1978. Correct me if I'm wrong. 1978. Jackie Chan starring, fucking original kung fu comedy, Drunken Master. You got Jackie Chan playing a good-hearted but a mischievous motherfucking training kung fu master or whatever. His pops has a lot of influence. He's known as a master and shit, and niggas acting up. So basically, Jackie Chan, as a punishment, he gets sent to train with, I think his grandfather.
His uncle.
His uncle.
Okay. And his uncle got a particular style of combat that nobody else really fucking got. A style of combat that, for some reason, they put him ahead of motherfuckers despite him not having that much principles. It's a drunken style, a sort of drunken style. And so this movie is about basically this young ass Jackie Chan pretty much learning how to fight, picking fights with people and shit like that, having beef, learning, to take some L's and shit like that, and then, trying to get stronger and shit. So it's not really too complicated. It's straightforward, but they add a lot of comedy and stuff like that in it too. So that's basically the movie there and shit like that. And not gonna lie, I thought it was pretty dope.
I had a question real quick. My bad. So the movie was made in 1978. This is what always confused me about these like foreign movies. Was it set in 1978 or when was this set? Because it's like I don't really know. Like it'd be ambiguous, like the time period.
So 1978 is like the year the movie was released. As for when it was filmed, I'm not entirely sure.
I don't feel like people in 1978 were just going around fighting each other like they do.
I was gonna say like they definitely had like an older feel to that shit. I don't know if there was. I didn't really pay attention if there was like electricity in the movie and shit. You know what I'm saying? But like they was drinking like wine out of like old vases and gourds and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they was, scooping water from buckets, like from
jars and shit.
We could say this was probably set in a particular like era of their dynasties, like how they had dynasties and shit. It was probably set in like a similar ass time, and I did not see much advanced tech, no cars, no nothing like that. These niggas were probably living in villages and shit.
All right,
yeah, it kind of seemed like it would like it probably I don't know like. If you were to compare it to our timeline of like America, you'd say like maybe pre-Wild West type shit, like somewhere around that time.
1800s, right? Maybe 1800s.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
something like that.
late
Okay.
1800s.
It was interesting to know their lifestyles.
Say it's
Yeah,
set in early 20th century China.
Okay.
yeah.
So
Okay,
yeah,
so yeah, like turn of the century then. But yeah, I don't know, man. First off, I want to make the comment. I was very surprised, and I guess it's because like it's an older movie. Like, I've seen like a lot of martial arts movies and shit. You know what I'm saying? And they be having some cold fights, but I was surprised by the amount of fighting they did in this movie.
yeah, they
Like it
fought
was
like
a
every
lot
5
more than
minutes,
I
bro.
expected.
That shit was like 80%
Like,
fighting.
yeah, I'm about to say it's like 75% of the movie is they're fucking, they're fighting, and I'm like, that's
I
a
think
good thing.
I think it's because it was a comedy, so it was a lot of slapstick type fighting. So I guess that's why.
Well, I think it's also because like, this movie was like, this is one of the like innovating famous martial arts movies and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't a whole lot of like famous shit to draw off of. So
Well, I was
back
gonna
then,
put this out there, like, if I can, is that a lot of actors nowadays they rely on angles and cuts, to achieve a lot of the physical shit. So you have niggas in these newer movies and shit. They do some savage shit. It look like they fight and they beat a nigga ass, but you don't know how much takes was in the middle of that shit. I'm seeing in real time these niggas doing backflips and stunts and whatever.
That's
So
the other thing, man.
yeah, like.
Shout out Jackie Chan, man. Motherfucker never used a stunt double. He was really doing all that cold ass shit himself.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was actually talking about this earlier before the recording started, but I wanted to just let niggas know this nigga is one of the main, kung fu niggas. And I don't know what else I want to call them. Kung fu, I guess martial artist actors that never used a stunt double ever. So don't ever get that misconstrued.
And you know why though? It helps that he started off as a stunt man too, though. Like before he was that.
Facts. For niggas that don't know, he was a stunt double for Bruce Lee on Enter the Dragon. That's actually where he got his big look from.
That's fire.
It's fire.
But yeah, like I think so. I say that to say like there was a lot of fighting within the movie, which surprised me, and like the quality, like I said this morning when I was watching it, like you got to think, man, this movie was made like 45 years ago, right? Like when like maybe I don't know how y'all felt about it. Maybe y'all were a bit more critical or whatever. But like 45 years ago, this was probably the coldest shit in the world, dog. Like nobody had ever seen shit like this before.
How do y'all feel about the way they portray his character from the beginning? Like, he
That
started
boy-
off as like a goofy fucking,
idiot.
He seemed like one of the like class clown types, but like whenever they got in the village and shit, he was a creep, bro. Like I bet I can get her to hug me. Like bro, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, to a woman in 2023 like that, he would be in jail, bro. Like,
if we being honest, though, like he low key got hoed in the start. Like whenever you know what I'm saying, like his pops. I'm saying like when his pops was mad at him, you know what I'm saying, behind that shit he did to that bitch, you know what I'm saying? He deserved that. But like the other shit, like he was mad at him because like he stopped that guy like who had like broke that shit from that street vendor and like tried to not pay for some shit. Like that wasn't like he wasn't wrong.
KTL, before that,
I didn't want to start him being mad at him though.
Yeah, but before that, what about like when he was
his father was rightfully upset with him already for being a creep in the street.
What I'm saying is like I hate in movies, and it happens all the time, where like there is some misunderstanding and nobody like involved in the situation bothers to clear it up. Like he wasn't like Pops, I beat his ass because he was like out here trying to steal some shit. He was being a dickhead. You know what I'm saying? Like a motherfucker never cleared that shit up. He just took the rap.
But you gotta look at the situation though. Like his pops probably not gonna believe him.
He was shook, boy.
Because and then remember he was making jokes about it. But back then, I really do think if you put shame on your family, they will cut your head off or they kill you or some shit.
Nah, that's a fact.
He wasn't joking. He was about to do it.
That's true. Which is
hold on, y'all. Can't hear all y'all.
I'm saying he his pops weren't playing with his ass. He was trying to kill that nigga, and
he was trying to beat him.
I think it's a cultural thing.
That's why
it's more cultural.
Yeah. Within the first 20 minutes, bro, this man's character is insane, bro. He pops it off. He's class clown, like y'all said. They did some weird shit. Nigga took a a peanut out his pants and threw it in that nigga mouth or something. I don't know. See that?
Yeah, I saw that.
What's going on?
He signaled to his homie to throw him a peanut, and he did it.
He beat the shit out of his damn teacher.
Like a pet dog. Like
Yeah, he was. He whooped the shit out of his teacher. Go outside, try to indulge in incest, and didn't even know. Like the nigga was doing some wild
I
shit.
forgot it was his cousin, bro.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. He actually didn't know it was he was hitting on his cousin, bro.
It don't matter. He still
I
tried.
was confused about, bro. He
So
told
how
me,
did he
he was
not
like,
know
he was
that
like,
was his
yeah, I bet
cousin?
I can get that bitch to hug me. And he
Hold on.
walked up on her and shit. And like, how did he know that that snake was finna roll by and scare that hoe?
No.
Nah,
This
I
what
think he
happened,
looked
before.
at it and planted it there.
He set
Hey,
that
Tim,
up.
this is what happened, bro. So what happened was,
Yeah, that bitch blowing his
I'm
eyes.
I'm answering your question too, Fear. I heard you. So
Yeah.
what happened was the nigga was like, his partner was like, he can get the bitch to kiss him or some shit. For some reason, Jackie Chan thought he was gonna one up the nigga by saying, like, you know, kissing is for kids and shit. I'm gonna get that bitch to hug me. Like that shit just told her or some shit.
That was
And
mad
so-
backwards, bro.
Yeah, why did he say that, bro?
Yeah, I don't know. And so
Maybe, like,
so
in his
KTL, what he
mind, like,
did was
getting
what he did
peck
was
on
he
a bitch
went.
is like less than a motherfucker holding you and some shit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but look, what he did was he went and got that snake. He
There
he
you
saw
go.
the snake before he
Yeah.
walked up to the bitch, and he got that
Pause.
snake and did that. And so, yeah, he did the little shit to that or whatever. Fear, the reason that he didn't know that was his cousin, like we didn't know that was his cousin at this point, was because apparently it had been a long time since his pops had seen his sister. I think that was
So
his
is he
sister.
not related to the lady that beat him up in the street?
Hell yeah, that's his
Yeah,
auntie.
but they like what his pops told her when they was all in the house. He was like, "Yeah, you won't even recognize Freddie. Like it's been a long time, you know."
That
Type
boy
shit.
name
So
was Freddie.
yeah, his name Freddie.
Freddie
And so
Wall.
none of them,
Wall.
they didn't recognize each other, like because I guess it had been a long time since they
And that
seen.
old bitch, like his auntie got on his ass. That bitch
Oh
was
yeah, his
Everybody
auntie was on his
Get
ass.
out that boy.
Well, he was on some niggas' ass, and then some niggas was on his ass for us.
Oh.
It kind of went both ways.
Pause.
You
He
niggas is
only
crazy. What's
lost
up?
throughout the whole shit. I think he only lost maybe like 2 fights.
Hell no.
he
That
didn't.
nigga
Nah, he
lost
lost
like
more
5
than
of them
that.
hoes.
Yeah,
Huh?
niggas was getting on his ass.
Yes, like
He was
5,
getting his
bro.
ass beat in the restaurant too. By the way.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah,
Oh
can't
yeah, he was getting beat up in the restaurant till old
Yeah.
dude ran down.
He
No,
definitely
you know
got
what-
helped.
you know what's crazy?
He got helped a bunch of times. He did.
But anyway, so yeah, like he you know, he does all that fuck shit, you know what I'm saying? And then his pops say instead of like him like beating the shit out of Buddy, he gonna have his uncle So High come through, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know,
That's a fire name.
yeah, I know that's crazy. He's the drunken master and he's so high. That shit fire for real. But like a motherfucker was in, you know, he was out here trying to scam the shit out of restaurant. He thought he was just gonna go in that bitch and eat all the food he wanted and not pay for some shit. And they was finna get on his ass. Then all of a sudden, you know what I'm
No
saying?
finna, they did.
They did get on his
They
ass.
punched
Yeah,
the food out that nigga.
Ass and shit.
Yeah,
And then
throw
this
that shit up.
ass old man starts beating the shit out this big muscle bound motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He was on
that nigga was whooping all them niggas ass with a towel.
boy.
Facts.
Oh.
He smacked the motherfucker with some chopsticks in the head and it beat the shit out of him, man.
This nigga beat everybody up with a towel.
That
Yeah,
was
he
so
was cold.
cold.
That's one thing. That's one thing that I really admire about like older kung fu movies. They'll like use like shit that's not even weapons, a towel, some chopsticks. He used a
Bro.
handful of chopsticks in a cup to lock somebody's hand up and then punch him in the face, bro.
Roots, the nigga used some bananas to fight with. He picked up 2 bananas to fight niggas with.
Oh yeah, why the nigga had the blade and then nigga
Whoa.
was cutting up the banana bit by bit and shit while he was
Yeah, like come on, bro.
Oh.
Hey, I will say one thing that I like about when I was watching like Jackie Chan, like even the first scene with him and the professor when they was in the classroom or whatever, the
Yeah.
choreography is fire. The way that shit is choreographed, that shit
The
is
shit
cold.
they were doing with the hat was cold as shit.
That
Hey,
hat shit was
I forgot.
cold.
I forgot, bro. We forgot like how the movie started. Like what y'all thought of the main villain, man?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Thunderleg.
Thunder
Bro,
I
Lake.
wouldn't even say.
Thunder
I don't even know if
Assassin,
I could
man.
call him a villain though. Like,
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
not really a villain. He
I
just
I
yeah,
mean,
No,
they
no,
say
yeah,
they
I
say he
think he
went
can
around
though.
killing niggas, but I don't know
Nigga,
if he
that's a
was like a
villain.
villain.
that ain't a
But
villain.
I
Though.
mean,
That's
That's a
a
bro,
villain,
he got a
nigga.
job.
all right, if
He's
you
a
go around
hitman.
killing
He's an
niggas,
He's an
Hold on,
yeah,
assassin.
y'all.
but
assassin.
he
Yo,
also
Yeah.
yo, 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 yo. Break it down. Break it down. Break
He
it down.
definitely the antagonist, at
He's
yeah,
a
least.
he definitely
hitman.
the antagonist.
He's a
yeah,
hitman. That's
But
what
he
his
was
job
also
was.
a dickhead. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, we'll get to that shit later. But he did
what?
some old dickhead ass shit.
Bro, this nigga was telling
I don't
niggas to
think so.
crawl in between his legs and eat
All right,
shit.
we get
No,
that.
that shit. He hold
What?
the shit out that nigga.
ATL
Bro,
said
bro,
we
what's
gonna
wrong
get
with
to it,
him?
and
That
that
was the
nigga
most.
Tex got to it.
Yo, that nigga made a
And
nigga
this
run home naked, bro. That
and
nigga's a
this
hoe.
But
goofy
that
nigga
that
did it.
no, that don't
He
make
said
him
it.
a
He
hoe,
did it.
bro. He told that nigga get up like 30 times. Like, bro, get out of here. Why you in my shit? The nigga, no, I'm drying my pants off, bro. I'm
Yeah,
finna
but
beat your ass now.
That nigga
felt
beat your
up in the
ass,
turtle
made you
shell.
crawl into his legs, then you made you run home in your drawers, bro. You's a hoe,
No,
bro.
bro,
He
before
burned
that,
your
hey,
clothes.
hey, he had already bitched up. He's sitting there hiding in a turtle shell. He's saying, like, what are you in it? Like, what are you, a turtle now? And Buddy thought he was finna get tough and shit. He talked crazy about your daddy. He talked crazy about you and your sorry ass martial arts. He
He gave
burnt
the
your
nigga 10
clothes. Like,
chances to get up out of here, bro.
y'all
No,
What
about
he
you
to
want me to
humiliated
do?
that nigga.
I'm
No
beating
fucking
your
cap.
ass too. I
Then
told
he
you,
told
get
him to
out.
crawl in between his legs and eat shit. What's wrong with this
No,
But
nigga?
you
I
know,
thought that shit was weird as fuck though. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, but I understand back in the day, like it was like a different time and different customs and whatnot. You feel me? So
It's
that shit
not
made
that far, bro. That's
like,
not
I
far
mean,
from
it
like
now,
what
but
niggas used
back
to do in New York, where they make a nigga strip down butt naked and walk home like
oh
that when
yeah,
they
see,
see
here
all
we
some
right, my
go.
shit.
nigga. Well, here we go with that. I was
That
I'm
shit
saying
crazy.
though, like niggas really used to do that. Like nigga,
but
take
one
all
thing I
your
want to
clothes
do,
off
I
I
and
do
walk
just
want to
seen
home.
say
that
about
Billy
this.
scene like 30 minutes ago.
I want to say one thing about this. The antagonist nigga, whatever. Thunder Kick or whatever.
Thunder Leg,
He,
Thunder Kick.
he will,
Thunder
Yeah.
leg.
Thunder Leg, get his name right. He done called
my
bodies.
fault, my fault, my fault.
Yeah, don't
Thunder Leg.
disrespect the
Pause.
nigga.
Yeah, Thunder Leg. Pause. He was one of the few characters that do kind of, as far as like how the character acts, like how the newer movies do, where they kind of stoic. Because I thought a lot of these characters, like 1 second they be acting hard, like like angry or like aggressive, and next second like, oh, it hurts so bad, like they could be mad expressive and shit. So I don't know how
Right.
y'all niggas felt about like the over the top kind of emotionality in like in the acting or whatever. Because I mean I didn't
But
hate it.
I
that
It
feel
it
just
like
took
that's
time to
seems
get used to.
that it seems that that's like a regular thing in older kung fu movies. Is just like the expression. Like we was talking about this earlier, how it seemed like whenever I was watching it, bro, it seemed like it was like some Looney Tune shit. Like they like everything was super expressive and like super blown out of proportion. Like a kick would make somebody fly 20 feet, or
but I
something.
figured
Somebody
that was
laugh
because
at
it was
Yeah,
something
like
and
see,
they're
that
real
was my
expressive when they
problem.
laugh.
That was my problem with the movie at first. Like, the voiceover shit was a little overwhelming. I thought I was watching the parody,
Mhm.
but the all the fighting and shit, it kept me engaged. Like that's what kept me entertained and everything else. I would have fell asleep.
Yeah, I
The
agree.
main
I agree.
character
Because
nigga,
What are you doing here?
because the story was stupid as hell. Like the story was all over the place, but the fighting kept me.
I ain't
This
gonna
shit
lie,
definitely
bro.
was a product of its time, bro. They had some like wild racist Asian depiction of a motherfucker in a
Oh yeah, that shit
restaurant.
was
Yeah,
crazy.
the professor looked crazy, bro. The
That's a
Nah,
fact.
French
that dude, the
teacher,
nigga in the
He had
restaurant
that
looked
one little
crazy.
piece of hair on his chin and shit.
That
Little
was
weird ass
gross.
shit.
Hey, I
I
thought
didn't
the
really
over.
mind the little fucking dub, the English dub shit. That shit was kind of funny as hell
Bro,
to me.
honestly, like
That nigga voice is
English
crazy.
dubs for even now, like if you watch the Squid Games, they got some trash ass English dubs too. Like it's always not it's always a hit and miss for like dubs.
Hit and miss. That was fire.
It was just over exaggerated, like the dubbing, in my
hidden
opinion.
Yeah,
miss.
I
That
think
is
the
fire.
dub was definitely exaggerated or whatever, but because it was like a comedy type of shit, I didn't even mind too much that these niggas were
Yeah, that's what I
silly.
thought.
Especially
Yeah,
with Jackie Chan, I thought since he's a troublemaker, mischief type nigga, like I thought that when he, when his master or whatever, a dude like get him in that training shit with the wrist or whatever, he's whining about it, how his wrist hurt with the, he's like crying like a little kid crying to his dad, like you know what I'm saying? Like I thought that shit was adding to the comedy type when they did it.
Yeah, no, I was about to say it like this is a 70s movie. This is like back in the day, 70s movies were like, especially comedies were exact. Look at blaxploitation movies. Say Jack. Like that's what they talk about. That's how they talk.
Bro, that nigga
Like-
daddy slapped him and he did a front flip. That shit was crazy.
Right.
Y'all know,
What?
Yeah, that
y'all
shit
know
was
what's one thing I can appreciate about this movie though? Like I know complaints in the recent movies we watch, we'd say, you know, such and such character has plot armor. Like every character in this movie got their ass whooped. There wasn't a single character who never got their ass whooped.
So
You know what I'm
I'll say So High got
He got his ass.
he
whooped,
was
Slim.
losing the fight. That's because he
He
didn't
got
have
his
his
ass
shit.
whooped
Oh, I
and they
can't
had
wait
to
to
run
talk
away.
But he
about
didn't have
this
his
shit.
shit
Brought him
though,
back from
KTL.
water.
I can't wait.
That's
to
actually
Yeah,
like
Jackie
against
Chan
plot armor.
goofy.
Then, if that's the case,
He
We
brought
not
the nigga
jumping
some
to that
water.
part,
He
man.
not no
Would we,
water
though?
drinker.
See, but that's what I thought. That's what like made me think of it, Slim, because I was like, at first I was like, he might have been a fraud. Then I was like, you know what? No, this was a sense of balance. Like,
It's like could you compare it to Popeye? Like when
Yeah,
Popeye got the
yeah.
spinach?
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
kind of, yeah.
I
Yeah.
say it's like Popeye
People
without
be
his
getting
spinach.
on Popeye ass without that spinach.
Yeah, that might be what it is.
Yeah, I
So-
didn't believe it was wine though. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Like
That shit was
there's
toxic.
I don't think it was in real life. Like,
It was toxic, bro.
I don't think it
wine.
was in real life.
Nigga
hey,
said, "Oh, that's good wine."
so another I guess you could say big fight in the movie was the nigga with the paws, the hard head or whatever the fuck. I don't remember what his name was.
Yo,
Probably
wait,
something
what was
wild.
his?
That's-
Yo,
Like,
that
iron
was,
head or some shit.
what type of fighting style was that?
Gay.
That nigga was.
Nigga,
I thought
main
that he
attack was
was,
a headbutt, bro.
I thought that he was, you know, he was about to be cold because he took some solid objects. You know what I'm saying? He was smashed through all the motherfuckers and shit. So I'm like, all right, that's his technique. Like this nigga, the motherfucker came through with the hammer and started using it like a nunchuck. Yo,
I was about to say he
Fire.
started beating
His
the
ass.
shit out of him with a hammer, dog. Like he was like, I'm not fighting you, bitch.
He said, "Say your prayers fast, because you about to feel my iron head."
I'm just saying,
Some shit like
yo.
And then he did it. He wasn't lying.
Nigga told his teacher his head was too hard.
yo, that's the thing, bro. He did the exaggeration. He said, "Master, his head is too hard."
Yo, he hit that nigga with a vase. Yo, he hit that nigga with a vase, and it didn't do shit to that nigga, bro.
No, the movie definitely had
Exploded.
some nonsense. Like that whole hammer pause, that whole hammerhead exchange
Damn.
was like if a nigga really got hit in the head with a hammer, that nigga dying for real. Like,
Yeah, but it was,
you know what?
that was
That
his
many
character.
times.
No,
It was
it
his
was made
character.
of iron, bro. Pause.
Yeah, his head was made of iron or some
Hey,
shit.
I
but
thought that
you
nigga was like a
niggas
monk or
realize,
something, bro.
you niggas realize though, right? There's a theme in this movie, bro, and that scene actually made me realize it. Is that whenever a fight happens, it's always some world star shit. Niggas in the cut just be watching, son.
Hey,
Niggas just be watching, son, while these niggas fight, son. That must have been how it was back in the day. Two niggas dueling, and you was just on the block. You gotta stop and watch and see who the
Well, yeah,
strongest nigga
because
is.
like I feel
Mhm.
like it was probably like some culture, like that was their entertainment back then. They ain't really have movies; they read books and scrolls and some more shit. You know,
Yeah, like,
yeah,
yo,
whenever
that was their culture. I feel like that
the
was their
fight
culture.
between Freddie and his aunt, it was mad people in the village just watching in that little market area and shit. It was like they was just
I
damn near
just seen
surrounded.
a woman beat the shit out of somebody I just saw get on somebody's ass 5 minutes ago.
To be fair though, they like it's a bunch of people there, and then they just start fighting. I'm like, of course I'm gonna watch. You know,
Uh-huh.
Like,
What
To
am
be
I supposed to do?
yeah,
What
exactly. Like y'all started fighting while we was all around already.
But they not pussy though. Like in New York, you know what I'm saying? Two niggas get to squabbling, and some people is just so soft they start running like like what's going
Nah,
on?
fighting was their culture.
or some
clearly,
people
that's
would
their
join.
culture.
Or some
So-
people jump
so-
in.
So let me bring up another character real quick. Can we talk about how I feel like that nigga partner was a real ass nigga? His
What you
partner
talking
was
about?
like
Well, you're talking about
the
Oh,
nigga that
yeah.
ran up and brought that nigga a bench. To
That
sit
nigga
down.
wasn't no real nigga. That nigga was a
That
fucking
That
slave.
nigga was a real
He was
nigga,
a
bro.
sidekick, low key.
Nigga
Was
wasn't
he
no
a real
real
nigga
nigga.
though?
Loki was a
I
sidekick.
think he was.
Why you thought he
Nigga
Pujols,
was
was
a real
lame
nigga?
as hell.
because you said he was what?
Nigga was lame as hell, bro. Get your bitch
Nah,
ass on. You trying to
Nah,
you want
He ran
think
his dumb ass
I
into
think
a
that nigga
ladder.
was a
He
real
ran his
friend,
into
bro.
a ladder.
Like that nigga Pops kept punishing that nigga, and that nigga kept like pulling up to save that nigga. I
Bro,
think that nigga
nigga
was a real nigga.
That nigga was fucking up himself. Everything that happened to Freddie Jackie Chan was his fault, bro. Every time, like this
How?
nigga was how? What
That's a
he
good
did,
point.
it was him, nigga. He kept
Hold on,
cheating.
bro. He was
What
trying
you
to
mean?
impress his he was trying to
But
impress his niggas.
but he saved the nigga though. Like the nigga. Okay,
Slim.
You gotta understand, the nigga had to stand there for 5 hours with like a bowl. Of course, he got in more trouble, but he was trying to help that nigga out.
Yeah, I know. And then when he was in the basement or whatever else with the shit tied to him or whatever else,
he came through. Like, he got that nigga free.
But here's the thing: what Pujols is saying is that this all started with this nigga being just a general troublemaker. I mean, if he wasn't trying to get a kiss off of Shorty's daughter or his cousin, I guess, you know what I'm saying? He you know what I'm saying?
Nobody told Jackie Chan to try to one up that nigga, bro. That's on him. Accountability.
But that's it, bro. Like, if
That's on him, Pujols.
If this nigga was on good behavior, it would have looked way different. If some mugger, he could have went home. Just look, there's this dude you should rob. That's why I beat him up.
He would have waited 2 more minutes. His pops would have walked in and seen him. You know what I'm saying? Finishing his training, but the nigga wanted to sit down. Bro,
it wasn't no 2 minutes.
Yes, it was.
It was about 2 minutes.
Yes, it was.
I feel like that shit just got fast forwarded.
But Pujols, like, his pops got on that motherfucker ass, that professor, whatever that substitute teacher motherfucker. He was like, oh yeah, he said, I've been watching him. He ain't did nothing. Motherfucker said, how you get this chair? Like,
dumbass professor, bro.
Yo, and then he acted stupid. He was like,
he was over there digging his toes and
he was like,
shit,
oh,
you nasty bitch.
He's like, oh, there's a chair. Oh, acting surprised and shit.
I just feel like everything that happened to this nigga was his fault. Like, literally everything.
So what about
I'm sorry, hold on, real quick. With the shit with the chair, right? Y'all already think it was weird that assistant professor was tickling that man with a feather, bro? Rubbing all over his chest and shit.
I understood why.
Yeah, but I think he a weirdo anyway.
Nah, he did that because he was really trying to make that nigga drop the fucking bowl.
Yeah, I get it.
He a weirdo anyway. Like, it don't, that's just
he was trying to get
weirdo.
Revenge. That makes sense. He was trying to get revenge on that nigga. Embarrassed that nigga and beat that nigga ass. No, he a goofy, like, he weird, but I get why he did that.
But
all right, nigga Pop say if he break any bowl, he get an extra hour. He was trying to hold that nigga.
Like,
all right, so we've been kind of all over the place, right, man? Let's kind of try to go through the structure of the movie, right? Like, we talked about, we got to the point to where he didn't, met the master and did the training montage. We kind of discussed about, he go over there and he like start trying to talk that shit to Thunderleg, and Thunderleg got on his ass. You know what I'm saying?
He was really trying to go out his way to do it, but because he was trying to escape the training, because he ain't seen no point in it. He didn't feel like he was
he was posted up in a motherfucking spot, Luno, and he said, hey, like, this is my shit, get the fuck on. And he was like, hey, don't you see me drying my pants here? And he said, all right, bro. Like,
that's why I don't think Thunderleg or Thunderkick I don't think he was a hoe. He was like, bro, get your ass out of here. I think Jackie Chan was trying to hold him. Like, nigga, he in your shit drying his pants.
Yeah, he was like, and if I don't get up,
I'm gonna beat your
later,
ass.
crawl in my legs.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. He kind of was asking for it, to be honest. Like,
He put his hands up first. Then Jackie Chan put his hands up first to that nigga.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
He dared him. He said, "What if I don't get up?"
Yeah, like, man,
all I know is after that ass whooping, he got his mind right. You know what I'm saying? He went back. He started trying to cop a plea, and he was gonna dry out his master cloak and some more shit. He said, "Yeah, the wine's great, isn't it? Boy, your bitch ass out of here."
Yeah, he didn't believe in the training, but I don't blame him. But at the same time,
crying. He was on the road. He was crying because the motherfucker disrespecting my bitch ass daddy, disrespecting my bitch ass kung fu. He disrespected me as a bitch. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh man, I can't do shit about it.
Well, he realized he was weak as fuck, and then he said, all right, maybe I gotta rely on this old nigga. Maybe I do need to get stronger. Whoop-de-whoop. You know what I'm saying? That shit set it off. Whatchamacallit? He had I think he fought the bamboo nigga I think after that part, right?
This is what I want to talk
the bamboo guy came through, and he got on it. Like, he at first he was shook, you know what I'm saying? But then he realized that, like, his teacher was, wasn't shit when he was sober and some more shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he started getting on his ass, and they had to run away.
Hold on, man. Okay. That's what happened, but that ain't what happened at the same time.
That's what happened, bro. Come on.
No, that's what happened, but he thought that wasn't the real nigga. He was like, oh, that nigga wouldn't, his hands shaking. He wouldn't be scared of us.
Well,
he didn't know that was really him.
Yes, but I don't think that like, at first, because he told him that was who he was, and then he was like, "Oh, the real one wouldn't be like this and shit." At that point, I think it's like, I've seen a weakness. It don't matter if it's him or not.
No, he was about to leave until he thought he wasn't real, right?
Yeah.
He at first he was like, "Oh, that's the real master right there. I'm not gonna fuck with him. I'm gonna leave with this." And he's like, "Wait a minute." if that's the real one, why would he be shaking like that? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And he came back trying to squab. So, you know what I'm saying? But
That's one thing, man. Okay, number two for me is they get the shit beat out of them by Bamboo King. I think that was bro name.
Bamboo Master.
Bamboo Master. He beating their ass. They run in the house. They get out. They sneak away in the house and shit. They jump out the back window. This Bamboo Master nigga say, "Oh, they got away." Bitch ass nigga just go around the house, go search, nigga.
I guess
That nigga
he felt
didn't
like
do
he done
nothing.
did something. He feel like he won. He's like, hey,
That
y'all running
nigga
like
didn't
a bitch.
search for shit. He just, oh yeah, they got away. Fuck it, I'll catch them next time. Now after that, when Jackie Chan go get on their ass,
Freddy.
beat the hell out, when Freddy beat the hell out this nigga, make him face going shit, all that.
Shit.
Is it me or did he take 10 steps and was back into his master house?
Shit, I don't know. I assume they was like right around the block anyway, because why was they there originally?
They was there because dude beat his partner up. He went to go get his big homie.
Oh yeah, that was the dude with the iron head. Pause.
Yeah, but Jackie Chan beat their ass, took 10 steps, and said, Master, nigga, they was right there the whole time.
Yeah, probably.
You talking about when he took that wine or whatever?
Yeah, when he took that big ass wine.
I think they just cut did like a cut scene to
that was
they probably I don't think they was
I hope
that
that's
far
what
away
they
from
did
really
though.
Probably a community, man. It's a village. You ain't gotta go that far.
Because that nigga took like 5 steps and was already
he was right
I don't know, that didn't take 5 steps, got on the ground, reflected,
and
pulled
his
some grass
teacher
out
had
the
already
ground,
left him.
then got up and then ran it wasn't no 5 steps. I don't think
That
so.
shit
Yeah,
was
wrote a
awesome,
note and
man.
ran off
That
in
nigga,
that time.
he ran off. He ran off, had a flashback, fell to the ground, pulled grass out the ground. Like they made it seem like it was longer than.
No, they didn't, man.
Yeah,
They
that
didn't.
kind of stuff there is, just little issues in basic continuity. I don't think that the movie was like super, vigilant in trying to make it seem like there was some natural progression of time, whatever else. It's like the nigga became basically a master overnight, if we're being honest. So we don't really care about the time frame, I guess, so much. You know what I'm saying? We really
Well,
just
Luno, the
It's
thing
kind of
is,
crazy too.
so I feel like it's kind of what you said, but it's like there were time jumps in this movie, but it wasn't clear time jumps because the actual span of time that he trained with the master was a year, and that's why he left. And so that's also goes back to what I thought about.
You really think that was a whole year? I figured they
said it
kind of
was.
He said it was.
He said it.
Yeah, but I figured they expedited that shit. Like once it got started and shit. Like
Nah, because they in that case they wouldn't have said it's been a year in the note. But
and I'll say that
besides
there was never like a Karate Kid moment, right, where he started doing like moves or techniques or whatever, and you realize like he was starting to finally like put that shit together. I feel like he left from the Drunken Master and then went on to go see his pops and shit like that, and we just gotta assume at that point, all right, he done this training, he must be that nigga now, like which I don't know.
He said
how
that too. Like when he came back, he told his pops, he said, "I'm a master now." That's what he said when he met him. When his pops was getting his ass.
Hey, his pops was supposed to be like a cold ass martial artist and shit, but Thunderleg was finna send Buddy to Sky Dad.
So the thing about that, KTL, is both of them were undefeated, like fighters. I believe Master Wong was undefeated.
Yeah, I'm like that's what the guy
correct,
said at the start,
Slim.
though, Slim. The guy at the start said, "I'm undefeated." I just assume if you're still alive, you're probably undefeated. They probably would have killed your bitch ass at that point.
Yeah, but this is the same for Master Wong. I don't think he had ever been beat either, and that's why when they met, he was like, "I finally got like an opponent that's like worthy or some shit." But Thunderleg was just the better nigga.
Yeah, he was just beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, he was the better nigga.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Thunderleg was a cold nigga.
Then Freddy pulled up, and you know what I'm saying? It was a good little fight sequence.
Man, Freddy was about to lose too. That nigga spit on that nigga. That's the only reason.
But he won. He was winning at first, then he started losing.
That's why Tajiri used to win.
Oh, that nigga spit on that nigga. You ain't supposed to spit on a nigga in a fight.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. They don't got no rules in a fight out that bitch to the death. Like
I thought it was no rules.
I guess. I mean, he was about to lose though. That's the point I'm making.
They was kicking people chest out chest, bro.
It don't matter whether it was fair or not. He was about to lose. If he didn't spit on that nigga, he would have lost.
Well, he started fighting like a woman and shit. He pretended to be a bitch and started beating the shit out Buddy.
I don't care about none of that. If he did not spit in that man's face, he was
Yeah,
about
but he
to
did
lose.
though.
Right, he did. But he was going. All I'm saying is he was going to lose if he didn't.
So
do
he
that.
killed him, right?
Maybe.
Like I was under that impression. Like that motherfucker dead, right? Like it looked like he snapped
Yeah,
his neck and
he
fucking
did. Yeah.
broke his Adam's apple and some more shit. Like
Okay. So we just covered like everything, like all the villains, all the fights, everything. Pretty quick. What do y'all think about the movie as a whole? Like this the first time we watched one of these kung fu
Shit
movies,
was
and it was an
ass.
action comedy. Not an
I
action
thought
comedy,
it
but
was
comedy.
pretty good,
This is the first time I've seen a
It's a bit
classic
dated.
Kong.
I think it's good.
The fighting and shit and stunts and all that shit was good, but the
I agree
movie is
with that.
ass.
I'll say
As
this.
a movie is ass.
So we can go ahead and just go down the row and just give our thoughts. Then, if we at that point, we just give our final thoughts and our ratings and shit.
So, yeah, let's just do the final thoughts and the ratings at the same time.
I'll go.
Going through
I'll go
twice.
first.
We always do that, brother. Go ahead, Art.
No, I don't want to go first, Lemma, because I want to.
Oh, I'll go first.
This nigga got scared.
I want.
We usually go
I
down
want
the line, but fireworks.
go
You can
first.
go first. Then we'll go with Art.
All right, for sure. All right, for sure. So, kind of like Art mentioned, this was actually I wasn't well versed in like the old school kung fu like universe type shit. You feel me? So this was my first time actually watching one of these old school ones. I thought the kind of like I mentioned earlier, the dubbing was kind of over exaggerated, but the fight scenes definitely, did a lot to keep me locked into the movie. The story was definitely all over the place. I would think if there was any type of story, I thought Yim or Thunderleg or Thunderkick or whatever the hell you want to call him, because he's named that in different versions of the movie. I thought he maybe he could have appeared a little bit more in the film. I feel like he was like in what, like 3 or 4 scenes. You feel me? Didn't really show up till like the ending fight, which was dope. I really didn't know what to expect from this movie. I know that this movie is like highly regarded. When it comes to these old school kung fu movies, I thought it was I guess, for the lack of better words, I thought it was an entertaining movie. As far as my rating goes, I give it probably a solid 7. Probably, yeah, a 7. Would I watch it again? Probably not. But yeah,
let's go back to Art, man. What you got?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say this was my first time watching a kung fu movie. From that time, I was gonna say it was my first time watching a comedy, because I'm used to the Bruce Lee, Tony Jaa type movies back in the day, but this is the first time watching a full Jackie Chan movie. I ain't watched a Jackie Chan movie like from the 70s before, only from like the 90s and 2000s. But no, I like the movie a lot actually. This is like I said, this is gonna be this is probably my favorite movie that we reviewed so far. The action was like clean, entertaining, unique. It wasn't like, I'm not gonna really judge the story. I don't ever really judge the story on comedies that well, like that much, because I don't really weigh story and comedy that much sometimes, depending on what the movie is. But no, I like the movie a lot. With that being said, I'm gonna just get this 7.6.
All right, Rootz.
Yeah. This isn't my first time watching an older kung fu movie. This isn't my first time watching this movie. I said before, I watched these. So there's 2 versions of this. There's this one, and then there's one that came out at a later time, I think somewhere in the 90s or maybe like early 2000s or something like that. But so I wouldn't suggest this one. I would actually suggest the other one, just because the story is more well-rounded and thought out. So that's kind of where this movie for me kind of lacked. But because, I've watched multiple, kung fu movies and whatnot, I'm not judging it on a big spectrum. I'm kind of judging it for what it is. And what it is it's an old style kung fu movie where they focus more so on the fighting. And so when I judge it based off of that and knowing that, I think it's a good movie. It kept me very entertained. The comical areas were funny to me. I was laughing the whole time. I was drunk, but I was laughing. Yeah, I like the movie, man. I probably won't watch it again for a while, but if I'm scrolling through, it's free on YouTube, by the way. If anybody don't know, if I'm scrolling through YouTube and this pop up on my feed and I got an hour and a half to waste, I'll probably watch it again. You know, so based off of that, I think I'll probably give this a. I'll give it I'll give it a 7, even 7.
All right, Bob.
Yo, man. First of all, thank you to everybody who actually, sat down and watched this one. I know that kicking it old school can be a good thing and a bad thing. I felt after Desperado that going back in time was justified, definitely a legitimate, project for us on here on this podcast, because I don't feel like, the criticisms we make today don't have to apply back then. We can make allowances, we could say sort of privilege certain things here or there, but I judge this movie like I'm gonna judge any other movie we watch, first and foremost. Honestly, yeah, y'all pretty much cleared it as far as the action. Like, the action was the most compelling part of this film. The effort on the part of the actors to not only give themselves maximally to their roles, but also to, do physical feats in real time that are impressive, regardless of whether or not it's a movie. This is what set the bar for action to follow in the movie tradition, in the West here for a mad long. When the black detective or like the white cop in the movie is doing like choreographed combat, this is the stuff that they're truly drawn from, and it's humbling to watch a film that's this old do so much on screen with so little in terms of a budget. But otherwise though, it was a fun watch. Like, I had fun watching the movie and shit like that. It grew on me over time during the movie. At first, kind of shaky, definitely low res compared to stuff I've seen. Obviously more modern, but it didn't take itself too seriously. It was entertaining, and not for nothing and shit like that. I didn't feel like I wasted my time when the movie was over. I'm really impressed with the cast. I'm really impressed with the combat scenes, like it was choreographed and shit like that. And honestly, like, I'm glad that, you know what I'm saying, this shit had kind of comedy and action intertwined, but neither sort of fucked up the other one, right? Overall, a great movie. But if I'm being technical, I would say it was just, pretty good, honestly, because there's some crazy movies out nowadays. All in all, I gave this one a 7.3. Don't know if I'll watch it again, but if you haven't watched it yet, I suggest you should. Thank you.
All right, Pujols.
Cool movie, man. I ain't mind the dub shit. Like, I watch a lot of anime, so I'm used to a lot of badass dub shit. Like, that shit be horrible. So I thought it was fun. I thought it was kind of supposed to be like that because it's comedy and shit. Like, I thought that shit was done purposely, honestly. The story was, I mean, I guess it was kind of all over the place, but I like that too. Fireworks said he didn't understand. Well, he didn't like that the main villain wasn't in the story a lot, but from the jump, he said he just here for the money. So if nobody paying him to kill nobody, but he ain't got no reason to be in that bitch. So that didn't bother me either. Uh, I definitely watch it again. That shit was fun though. It was a fun little watch. It ain't nothing. It wasn't too crazy. I don't watch this kung fu type of shit that often. So it was cool. I'll go 7.2.
All right. So I think it was pretty entertaining. Like Pujols said, it was pretty fun for the most part. Mostly the fight scenes. I feel like the story wasn't really much there, but the fights was good. It was better than I expected it to be. I feel like maybe they could have shortened it about 20 minutes because it felt like the pacing was kind of slow in certain parts. Specifically, like when he was doing that training with his master and like the shit with his wrist and all that. Like, I feel like all of that shit was like a little, stretched out. But it was good. Like, I'll say it was pretty good for my first watch. I don't know if I'll watch it again, but like, I wouldn't necessarily be against it because like it was certain shit that I was just laughing at because it was goofy. Like, the fucking the hat shit and everything with this professor, like that shit was clean. All the choreographed shit that the fight moves, the fucking scenes, I feel like everything was put together well. So for me, I give it like a 7.6, man. I think it was pretty good. And Tex.
Shit, where do I begin? I mean, as far as like a full movie, like I ain't really like it because the story wasn't hitting for shit. Like there was no sense of like I didn't know when time passed or anything. Like it was just the shit was sloppy all over the place. I do like the antagonist and shit though. Yeah, the fight scenes and shit was real good. The choreography and all that, like all that shit was cold. Like the funny shit, I don't really like comedy like that, so the funny shit wasn't really funny to me. I was more so laughing at the shit that wasn't funny, like wasn't supposed to be funny. It was funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna get a movie a 6.3.
All right, and KTL sent me his rating. He gave it an 8. So, with that being said, for Drunken Master, we got a 7.2 final score.
That nigga Fear did that.
Yeah, Fear left. I don't know what his score was. We got a 7.2 final score for this one.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right, and with that being said, I got the next movie, and I had like a couple options. Up until this point, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to pick, but I think I know what I'm gonna go with. Today we had like Drunken Master, which is our first time doing any kung fu on the channel, our first time doing any type of comedy for real, unless you count Desperado, which wasn't really no comedy shit, but it was just
Ready or Not a comedy.
Ready or Not was a horror comedy. I can get that one too. I just felt like this one was way more goofy than Ready or Not. Ready or Not had a couple characters that were meant to be goofy. Like this shit didn't have no set characters that was meant to be goofy or funny. They was just all just goofy, most of them. And so, yeah, I feel like this is really the most comedy shit that we seen. So I got something that I think is, different from everything else that we've been watching too. We watched a lot of like thriller, a lot of fight action shit, niggas with guns shooting up everything. And it got a little bit of that in it, man. But, it ain't really. Next week's movie, we got 2021, my nigga, Ryan Reynolds.
Trash.
Free Guy, man.
Oh,
2021 Free Guy. Let's see.
Already seen that
hitting
movie.
for.
Don't gotta watch it again.
Let's see what it's hitting for next week, man.
We're gonna see what this hit for. All right, is this the newest movie we got? We did so far?
Nah.
Definitely Now was
Definitely Now. Yeah.
It was
So
what?
this is the newest one recorded since that one didn't drop.
And Barbarian was new as hell too, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. I forgot about Barbarian.
Oh yeah.
I only seen half of
it
Free
was
Guy.
new.
We'll watch.
Yeah.
We gonna watch Free Guy.
All right, man. We'll be back next week with another episode. This is the Real Rap Coalition podcast, man. We are out.